Welcome to Proline, the longest-running sports handicapping show in America. I'm John Cranton in Las Vegas, joined by Jeff Sod. He's been running Las Vegas Sports Services for 14 years. And, of course, world champion handicapper Jim Feist. Going to take a look at the Thunder Spurs series as well as the Heat Pacers Eastern Conference Finals. They're going to be playing over the weekend, games 3 and 4. Get some betting trends, some totals, and some best bets to look at. First, we're going to tell you how you can get aboard with some Las Vegas experts. Jim Feist Tuesday had your NBA winner with the Miami Heat in Game 2. On Wednesday, you went 2-1. Big plays on the underdog winner in the NHL with the LA Kings. You had a loss with the Oklahoma City Thunder, but you had a late bailout game of the month in baseball. That was an underdog Minnesota Twins winning 2-0 at San Diego. Jim, you can make money going 2-1 with underdogs pretty well.
Well, you can. Saying that I had a loss with the Oklahoma City Thunder is really an understatement, because if I'd have bet that on action points, where you bet how many points away from the line, I'd have been broke. I'd be down on welfare down at the Mission getting food.
Don't do that.
35-point beat down. Absolutely incredible. But what I have to offer, we've been having a great year, whether it was college basketball, pro basketball, football, everything. Baseball's red hot. Hockey's been good. The rest of the NBA, right through the playoffs, and baseball right through the All-Star break, plus a $500 value play, a big play going tonight, all for $39. That's NBA, baseball, hockey, right through the All-Star break for $39. It's a $500 play tonight that I have up online right now, but you can get all of it for $39 by calling 1-866-841-1655. That's 1-866-841-1655.
All right, and Jeff, you're off a 2-1 baseball run yesterday, 34-17 with these baseball best bets. I know the one team that didn't get there yesterday was the defending champion Red Sox. I'm kind of giving up on them as well, but still 34-17 with these bets. And how can folks get aboard a special May offer?
Yeah, your Red Sox let me down yesterday with John Lester, but I don't know what's the matter with that team. My team, the Tigers, have lost 4 in a row too, so I can't say anything. You're gonna get the rest of May, baseball and the NBA for only $10. When you sign up, you're gonna get a high roller consensus play. It's a $100 value. You're gonna get that as a bonus. Total $10. Call LVSS at 1-866-575-8916. 1-866-575-8916. The rest of May, NBA and baseball, just $10.
All right, I'll swap pitching staffs if you'd like. Tigers for Red Sox. Can we do that?
No, I won't do that.
You won't do that? Okay. All right, well, this weekend game, Memorial Day weekend, guys, we got more NBA playoffs. Got the Heat and Pacers. We'll start with them playing Saturday. Miami was a favorite at Indiana the first 2 games, and they split. So now here they are, -7 and a total of 183 for the Game 3 here in South Beach. Indiana had that home court, but they lost that. Jim, Indiana continues. Boy, they continue to be this Jekyll and Hyde team. They won Game 1, then lost Game 2. Now you got the 2-time champion has a chance to really turn up the heat on the young Pacers. Game 1 went over the total with no defense. Game 2 went under with great defense. What are we going to see this Memorial Day weekend in South Beach?
It's a schizophrenic league in many ways. The Indiana Pacers, of course, have been the hottest team in basketball early in the year when they became the number 1 seed. Everybody thought they were going to get there, and then they fell apart. Internal problems, trades that they didn't like, the players didn't click with whatever the heck was going on. Miami Heat just paced themselves through the entire season. They rested Dwayne Wade 30 games in the regular season. He's totally healthy now. He's playing extremely well. Miami's the better team. Bottom line, they're the better team. But are they 7 points better? As far as the defense, when they play defense, it's hard to get 183 points when you can shut down. This is not a real up-tempo team, the Pacers, and Miami's not an up-tempo team either. So it's very difficult for these teams to get over the total. But the first game set that pattern up, and it looked like, okay, this is going to be over Rose City. And the next game, of course, it went way under. The Pacers, now we have the problem with Paul George. He got the concussion. We don't know if he's going to play or not. I think he's going to play. But will he be affected? Will he be effective? That's another case. He might be on the floor. He might be on the floor for 5 minutes. He may not be able to play the entire game. Very difficult, and he's a very key player. He's not somebody 21 points a game. This guy, he's not a guy you want to sit on the bench. So I mean, this is a tough series. I personally believe these two teams are closer than this kind of a line. I don't even think the Pacers should be an underdog at home, but that's the way it's set up because of the way the Pacers fell apart at the end of the season. You know, Miami wasn't that impressive against Brooklyn. Brooklyn, with a little bit better mixture chemistry going on, they could have given Miami a lot harder time than they did. They only won one game. That should have been a closer series. Brooklyn is a pretty good team. Matter of fact, they were the hottest team in basketball from January 1st on. Of course, they ran up against Toronto, and Toronto gave them a tough time, and that might have worn them out. But in any case, Miami's tough. They won a couple of championships in a row. They got the best player in basketball. They got a great player in Dwayne Wade. Bosch seems to have fallen off the map. So we don't know what we're going to get. They're a small team. They don't match up well with the Pacers. This is not a great matchup for Miami. The underneath game, they do not belong on the same court when you compare those mixtures down low. So I don't believe Miami deserves to be this big of a favorite, but the question of Paul George really scares me.
It certainly does, yeah. Indiana is on an 18-38-1 spread run going back several months. On the other hand, they've actually been a decent bounce-back team. When they lose a game, they're 6-1 against the spread after a loss, and when they fail to cover the number, they're 7-1 against the spread. And the home team in this series is on a nice 7-3 spread run. Jeff, I wonder about pressure, which certainly at this point would favor the Miami Heat. They've got 2 rings. They got all those big game wins in the spotlight the last few years. Indiana, certainly a younger team with let's face it, a resume of failure for much of the last 2 years. Do you think the Pacers have the mental toughness, or is this weekend more about the health of Paul George?
Well, after those first 2 series, when they had all those terrible games and bounced back with the win and managed to get past the Hawks and Wizards, I thought maybe they had learned from that and made them stronger. But then in Game 2 against the Heat, they revert back to their bugaboo, which is scoring droughts, and they just can't seem to get over that. They just are not a good shooting team, and they're not going to learn how to shoot during the NBA playoffs. They shot 40% in Game 2. The Heat shot 50%. Pacers scored 10 points in the final 7-19, and a lot of that, of course, had to do with Paul George with a possible concussion. But still, that's the same old problem that they have, and you're not sure when it's going to happen, but it just seems to pop up. And for that reason, it's just hard to keep backing the Pacers, especially now it's going on the road against the defending champions. As we're speaking, I'm not sure if Paul George is going to play in Game 3. Right now, it's iffy. If he doesn't, it's going to be Roswell, Butler, or Evan Turner replacing him. Butler's only played 18 minutes in the whole series, and Turner hasn't played at all because he's recovering from a strep throat. So right now, as you speak, it doesn't look too good for the Pacers. The line's 7. Whenever the line is 7 or more, that means the line makers don't give the underdog much of a chance to win outright. It's just a matter of if you think the favorite's going to cover. Miami's 3-2 as a home favorite in the postseason. But as of right now, it's tough to say, and we'll probably know more as we get close to game time, especially with the status of Paul George, John.
Yeah, some of the early reports on George is that he's back at practice, not practicing, but there. And so the indications that I would guess is that he's probably going to play. The thing about the last 2 games, though, or the last game, which really stood out for me, everybody focuses on the star power. What stood out the last game was the bench. I mean, the Miami bench was terrific in Indiana in Game 2. They had 20 points and 16 rebounds combined. Meanwhile, Indiana bench had just 9 combined points and 5 rebounds. And also, when you look at those first 2 games, a huge edge for Indiana in that Game 1 win was free throw shooting. They played the physical game. They got the calls. They went to the line 37 times. Miami was only 10 of 15 from the line. But that changed in Game 2 when Miami kind of put its head down and said, we are going to play tough physical defense. We're not going to let them push them around. And the fouls were pretty much dead even, 10 of 15 for Indiana, 11 of 18. One of the regular season games, the last time they met here in South Beach, I'm going to draw on that a little bit. It wasn't that long ago, April 11th. And what was interesting about that game was a Friday night, and a lot was at stake, the number 1 seed. And if you remember, 2 days earlier on Wednesday, Indiana coach Frank Vogel, he rested his starters, didn't even play them against Milwaukee on Wednesday. He said, yeah, my guys are tired out. They're slumping because, the long grind is getting to them, but I want to have them fresh for this Friday night game in South Beach with so much at stake. Well, the betting line was very similar to what it is here for the weekend. Miami was a 6-point favorite, the total of 181 that game, and it wasn't close. Miami cleaned up on Indiana easily, 98-86. They won the battle of the rebounds of all things, 40-31. They shot almost 48% as a team. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Miami with their confidence and wanting this game and rested and being the more veteran team. I wouldn't be surprised to see a carbon copy, at least in Game 3 of that. The way I'm looking at Game 4, though, somebody's going to be up 2-1. I would look at the total for Game 4, and the reason is somebody's going to be up 3-1 or it's going to be 2-2. When you have that much on the line, you can have both teams saying, we're going to slow the pace down, very similar to what we saw in Game 2. And just to draw a parallel on that, a year ago when these teams played in 7 games, Game 3, Miami won in an up-tempo blowout, 114-96, way over the total. And Game 4 was a slow-paced defensive game, 99-92. Miami only shot 39%. So that's the way I would look at these games over the weekend. All right, before we get to the Western Conference Finals, if you want to get free daily plays, send right to your cell phone. You get it from Dave Koken every day by texting Koken at 313131. And Jim, they can get plays from you for free every day in a similar fashion.
They just text WINNER, WINNER, to 313131, and we'll send free plays right to your cell phone each and every day. That's WINNER, WINNER, to 313131.